The stars above Earth were brighter than ever before. They shone like watchful eyes over a planet that had grown stronger, wiser, and ready. Captain Elena Torres stood on the deck of the flagship Unity, her eyes fixed on the vast alien fleet gathering beyond Mars. The enemy was back, bigger and more determined, but so was humanity. Beside her, Lieutenant Marcus Lee checked his weapons, his calm confidence a symbol of the new strength Earth had gained. Around them, the combined fleets of Earth and the Aran were preparing for the final battle. The air was tense but hopeful. Years of fighting had led to this moment, a moment where Earth would prove to the galaxy it would not be conquered. "Captain," came a voice from the communications officer. "The invaders' command ship has activated its weapon systems." "They are ready to strike," Elena nodded. "All units prepare for battle. Remember what we fight for: our home, our people, and the future." The alien invasion fleet was massive. Thousands of ships, from small fighters to giant warships, filled the space around Earth. Their leader's voice echoed across the communication channels, cold and full of anger. "Earth, surrender now. Your resistance is useless. This galaxy will be ours." Elena responded with steady courage. "We will never surrender." The battle began. Energy beams and missiles tore through space. Explosions lit the darkness like distant stars going out. Earth's fighters darted between the enemy ships, using speed and strategy to avoid destruction. The Aran ships moved with graceful precision, their weapons disrupting the enemy's energy fields. The awakened soldiers, powered by the relic's energy, fought with strength and skill beyond what anyone had imagined. Elena led a squadron deep into the heart of the enemy fleet, targeting the massive command ship. The enemy's defenses were strong, but Elena's team was stronger. Using the relic's power, they pushed through the enemy lines. Inside the command ship, Elena faced the alien leader, a towering figure of darkness and cold power. "You think you can stop us?" the leader hissed. "Your world will fall and your people will be slaves." Elena stood tall. "You underestimate humanity. We fight not just with weapons but with heart." The final battle was fierce. Energy clashed and the command ship shook under the assault. Elena and her team used every skill and power they had. At a critical moment, Marcus Lee's fighter flew beside Elena's, launching a powerful pulse from the relic-powered weapon. The command ship's core began to fail. With a final explosion, the enemy leader's ship was destroyed. The alien fleet faltered, then began to retreat. Earth's people cheered as the sky cleared. The invaders had been defeated, but the victory was more than just a battle won. It was proof that humanity could stand against the greatest threats united and strong. Back on Earth, celebrations spread across every city and village. People hugged, laughed, and cried with joy. President Naomi Blake addressed the world. "Today we have shown the galaxy that Earth is strong. Together with our allies and the power within us, we will protect our home and build a better future." Captain Elena Torres looked up at the stars, feeling proud but humble. "We have much work to do," she said to her team. "This victory is only the beginning." The Aran commander appeared beside her. "Your people have awakened," he said with a smile. "The galaxy will remember Earth as a beacon of hope." As peace returned, Earth began to rebuild. The ancient relic's energy helped heal the planet and advance technology for all. Humanity's spirit had been tested and had grown stronger, and far beyond the stars. Other civilizations watched, inspired by the courage of Earth. The invasion fleet was defeated, but the story of humanity's strength and unity was just beginning. For Earth was no longer alone in the universe. It was a shining light, ready to face whatever the future held, and the galaxy would never forget what happened when an invasion fleet approached Earth, and what came next terrified the galaxy. For 50,000 years, no one dared to enter the space that humans called their own. It was a vast area of the galaxy, full of stars, planets, and mysteries. Many alien races knew about it, and all of them had learned the same lesson. Human space was not a place to visit without permission. Stories passed down from generation to generation told of explorers who tried and never came back. This silence was not by accident. Long ago, the humans had shown the galaxy that they were not to be ignored or challenged. They were clever, strong, and full of strange energy that others could not understand. Over time, other races grew afraid, respecting the invisible line that marked human space. No one crossed it. Far away in the bright blue star system called Zareen, a young alien named Kalen was preparing for a journey. Kalen belonged to the Zareen people, known for their curiosity and love of knowledge. They had silver skin that shimmered in sunlight and eyes that could see in many colors. But what made Kalen special was the endless desire to explore and understand things others avoided. The Zareen had long respected the quiet border around human space. Their elders often warned of the dangers beyond, the stories of ships disappearing, of strange lights and sounds that no one could explain. But Kalen wanted to know the truth. Why had no one crossed in 50,000 years? What had scared the galaxy so much? One evening, as Kalen sat beside a glowing crystal lake on their home planet, a strange signal came through the ship's communication system. It was weak and broken, but clearly coming from inside human space. Kalen's heart raced. No one had received anything from human space in thousands of years. Kalen showed the signal to their captain, Marek, an experienced explorer with calm eyes and steady hands. Marek listened carefully, then nodded. "This is unusual," Marek said. "We need to find out where it is coming from. But we must be careful. The border is not a place to enter lightly." Kalen agreed, but felt excitement deep inside. Maybe this was the moment they had been waiting for. The crew of the Starship Venture gathered in the command room. Screens showed the star map with a blinking light marking the source of the signal. It was far, near the edge of human space. Marek gave the order to set course. As the ship moved forward, the crew talked quietly about the stories they had heard. The galaxy had many legends about humans. Some said humans were warriors who could fight with strange powers. Others said they were scientists who had unlocked secrets of the universe. But no one knew for sure because no one had crossed the border for so long. Kalen watched the stars blur outside the window. Their mind was full of questions. What was waiting on the other side? Would they be welcomed or would they face danger? The silence of 50,000 years was about to end. Meanwhile, on a distant human space station called Horizon, people noticed unusual activity near the border. Horizon was a place where humans lived and worked in peace, exploring new worlds and studying stars. The station's commander, Commander Lena, was a woman known for her intelligence and kindness. Lena looked at the reports with interest. Sensors had picked up a signal, a faint message, but one that seemed to ask for help. It was strange because humans rarely sent messages outside their space. Something was different. She called her team together. "Prepare for visitors," she said. "It's been a long time since anyone crossed our border. We must be ready to welcome them with respect." The humans began to prepare quietly, sending out peaceful signals and making sure their defenses were ready, not for war, but for understanding. Back on the Venture, the crew finally reached the border. The stars seemed brighter here and the space quieter. No one spoke much, feeling the weight of history pressing on them. Then suddenly the signal became clearer. It was a voice, soft but clear, speaking words in an ancient language that even the Venture's computers struggled to understand. Kalen listened closely, trying to make sense of the message. It was a call for knowledge, not for battle. It asked for help to understand something great, something humans had discovered long ago. This was unexpected. Kalen turned to Marek. "They want to share something with us." Marek nodded slowly. "Then we must be the first to cross the border in 50,000 years. For knowledge. For peace." The crew prepared to move forward, knowing this moment would change everything. As the Venture crossed the invisible line into human space, the stars seemed to welcome them. There was no fear here, only hope. The long silence was ending, but what awaited them was still unknown. The Venture had crossed the silent border. For the first time in 50,000 years, an alien ship was inside human space. The air inside the ship was thick with curiosity and cautious excitement. No one knew what they would find. Kalen stood near the control room window, staring at the stars that humans called home. The signal that led them here was still playing softly through the ship's communication system. It was strange, different from any message Kalen had heard before. It was not a warning or a threat. Instead, it was a call for help, an invitation to learn, to share knowledge. Kalen gathered the crew to try to understand the message better. The Venture was equipped with the latest technology, and their computers worked hard to decode the ancient human language embedded in the signal. Slowly, the meaning began to appear. "We are being asked to help," Kalen said quietly. "They speak of a discovery, a secret kept for thousands of years. Something that could change everything." The crew exchanged glances. This was more than a simple greeting or a first contact message. It was a request for trust. Captain Merrick stood and looked out the window thinking. We must respond carefully. Humans have been quiet for so long. Maybe they waited for the right moment to reach out. The Venture sent back a simple message. We come in peace. We wish to learn. Within hours, the reply arrived. It was an invitation. A location was given, a human research station called Horizon, not far from the border. The message said that the humans were ready to meet. The Venture adjusted course, heading toward Horizon. Kalen's heart beat faster. Meeting humans after all this time was something no one had done for centuries. They had only heard stories. On the Horizon station, Commander Lena prepared to welcome the visitors. She walked through the busy halls, her face calm but full of excitement. For years, humans had waited for this day, the moment when they would reconnect with the galaxy. Lena's team arranged a meeting area filled with light and images of human history. They wanted to show their guests who they were, not as warriors but as explorers, scientists, and friends. When the Venture docked, the crew and humans approached each other carefully. Neither side wanted to make a wrong move. Then Kalen and Lena met. Lena's smile was warm. Welcome to human space, she said simply. Kalen bowed slightly, feeling respect and relief. We have many questions. So do we, Lena replied. They walked together into the station's conference room, where a large holographic map of the galaxy floated in the air. Lena pointed to a glowing dot on a distant planet. This is where our secret discovery was made, she said. A long time ago, humans found something no one else had seen. Kalen's eyes widened. What is it? Lena took a deep breath. An ancient artifact. It is not just technology, it is a key to a new energy source, clean and powerful, that could help all civilizations grow without harm. The room grew quiet. Kalen thought of their people's world and the struggles to find energy without damaging the environment. This discovery could change everything. But why keep it hidden? Kalen asked. Because we feared what might happen if it fell into the wrong hands, Lena said. We chose to stay quiet, to protect it until we could find friends we could trust. The humans showed Kalen and the crew images and data about the artifact. It was a strange shape, glowing with colors that shifted like the northern lights. It hummed softly with energy, but no one fully understood how it worked. Kalen's mind raced. This was not the story they had expected. Humans were not the fierce warriors of legend, but careful guardians of something precious. We want to help, Kalen said, and we want to learn. Can we see the artifact? Lena nodded. We will take you to it, but first there are rules. The artifact is dangerous if handled incorrectly. It requires respect and cooperation. Over the next days, the humans and the Venture crew worked together. They shared stories about their civilizations, their histories, and their hopes. It was a moment of connection, breaking the silence of thousands of years. Kalen learned that humans had faced great challenges. They had survived wars, diseases, and natural disasters. Their strength was not in fighting, but in never giving up and in seeking understanding. One evening, Kalen stood on Horizon's observation deck, looking out at the stars. Lena joined them. Do you still wonder why no one crossed the border for so long? Lena asked. Kalen nodded. Yes, the stories told were about danger and fear. Lena smiled softly. There was fear, yes, but also respect. Humans made a choice to protect their space and their discovery. We hoped others would do the same. But we also hoped for this moment, when we could finally share and unite. Kalen felt a new sense of hope. The galaxy was changing. The silence was ending. Suddenly, alarms sounded throughout the station. Lights flashed red. What is happening? Kalen asked, heart pounding. Commander Lena's face grew serious. It's a security breach, an unknown ship approaching. Not from our friends. The crew rushed to the control room. On the screens, a dark ship moved closer to Horizon. It was unlike any design Kalen had seen before, sleek but ominous. Prepare defenses, Lena ordered calmly. We must protect the station, but remember, we do not seek war. Kalen's mind raced. Was this the danger the stories warned about? Was this why no one dared to enter human space for 50,000 years? The unknown ship stopped just outside the station's range. A voice came through the comm system, harsh, demanding. Humans, your secrets belong to us. Surrender the artifact. Lena stood tall. We do not surrender to threats. We protect knowledge for all. The voice laughed coldly. then prepare for consequences. Kalen looked at Lena. What do we do? Lena replied, we show them who we really are. In that moment, Kalen understood the truth. Humans were not just protectors of secrets. They were protectors of hope, peace, and future. The silence had been broken. The real test was just beginning. The tension inside the Horizon station was thick. The unknown ship hovered silently, refusing to back down. Kalen and the crew of the Venture watched the standoff unfold with growing concern. This was more than a simple misunderstanding. The threat was real. Commander Lena stood in the command center, calm but firm. We will not give up the artifact. It is too important, not just for us, but for all life. Kalen nodded in agreement. The humans had shown nothing but peace and honesty since the Venture crossed the border. This new enemy was the real danger, not humans. On the screen, the unknown ship began sending strange signals. The Horizon's tech experts worked quickly to decode them. Kalen helped, fascinated by the alien language and the technology behind it. We think they want the artifact for power, one of the human scientists said. They see it as a weapon. Lena shook her head. It is nothing like a weapon. It is energy that can heal worlds, help life grow. They don't understand. Kalen looked out the window toward the dark ship. What do they want to do if they get it? We don't know, Lena answered, but we cannot let that happen. The Venture's captain, Marek, stepped forward. We are here to help. Maybe together we can find a way to stop them without fighting. Lena smiled faintly. That is why we invited you. Humans do not want war. We want friends. The unknown ship suddenly sent a new message. This time, it was a challenge. They demanded a meeting, but warned that if their demand was ignored, the consequences would be severe. Lena and Marek agreed to meet, hoping to avoid conflict. Kalen and the Venture crew prepared for the first face-to-face encounter with this mysterious group. A small shuttle from Horizon carried Lena, Marek, Kalen, and a few others to the enemy ship. The inside of the ship was cold and dark, filled with strange machines and blinking lights. The group was met by a leader, tall, with sharp eyes and an expression that showed power and control. I am Commander Vorath, the leader said. You hide the artifact, but you cannot keep it forever. The galaxy will take what it needs. Lena looked him in the eye. The galaxy is stronger when we share and protect life, not when we take by force. Vorath's voice was cold. You are weak. That is why no one has crossed your border for 50,000 years. Fear kept us away. Kalen stepped forward. It is not fear. It is respect. Humans have waited for the right time. Now that time has come. Vorath laughed. Your words mean nothing. The artifact belongs to whoever can claim it. Lena raised her hand. Then prove it with reason, not force. The two sides began a debate, not with weapons, but with words. Lena spoke of peace, of cooperation, and the benefits of sharing knowledge. Vorath argued for strength and control, believing that power came from taking what others had. Kalen watched closely. This was more than a fight. It was a battle of ideas, of hope versus fear. Suddenly, the shuttle's systems detected a disturbance outside. A small group of ships loyal to Vorath were preparing to attack Horizon Station. Time was running out. Lena turned to Vorath. This attack will bring nothing but destruction. Let us find another way. Vorath's eyes narrowed, but he hesitated. The weight of his decision was clear. Kalen spoke softly. If we work together, we can use the artifact's energy to help everyone. No need for war. Vorath looked around at his own crew. They seemed uncertain. Then a young member of Vorath's group stepped forward. Commander, what if this energy could save our dying planet? Should we not try to understand it first? Vorath's expression softened. He nodded slowly. Perhaps. A chance. The group returned to Horizon Station, where Lena and Marek arranged a demonstration. The artifact was carefully activated, releasing a soft, golden light. It flowed gently, spreading warmth and life. The scientists explained how the energy could heal damaged worlds. power cities without pollution, and create endless opportunities for growth. The visitors from Voreth's side watched in awe. Their fear began to change into hope. Kalen smiled. This is what humans protect. Not a weapon, but a future. Days passed as the two sides worked together. Kalen learned more about human culture, how they valued friendship, curiosity, and respect. Lena shared stories of human history, of struggles and victories. At night, Kalen and Lena stood outside on Horizon's observation deck. You know, Lena said, the stories about humans being dangerous? They are wrong. Kalen nodded. I see now. Humans are strong because they choose peace, because they believe in better. Suddenly, a new message arrived from other parts of the galaxy. More ships were heading toward human space, curious, hopeful, ready to learn. The silence was truly ending. But there was still much work to do. Kalen looked at the stars, feeling the weight of the moment. The threshold had been crossed, but the journey was just beginning. The arrival of the new ships was just the beginning. News spread quickly across human space that first contact was no longer a distant dream, but a living reality. Alien vessels from many different races approached cautiously, curious to see what awaited them beyond the silent border that had kept them away for 50,000 years. On Horizon Station, the mood was hopeful, but careful. Commander Lena, Captain Marek, and Kalen worked together to prepare for this new wave of visitors. There was excitement in the air, but also a deep sense of responsibility. Trust had to be earned, and the long silence had created many fears and misunderstandings. Kalen stood on the observation deck, watching as ships of all shapes and colors arrived, docking one by one. The stars outside seemed to shine brighter, as if welcoming a new chapter in galactic history. We are witnessing something amazing, Kalen said softly. The beginning of unity, Lena smiled. Yes, but unity is built on respect and understanding, not just technology. The humans invited representatives from the visiting races to Horizon. The station quickly became a place of learning and exchange. Each visitor brought stories, customs, and knowledge from their own worlds. Kalen spent hours talking with visitors, sharing ideas and learning about their cultures. They realized that although these species had lived apart for thousands of years, they shared hopes and dreams. The fear that once kept them apart was slowly fading. One day, a gathering was held in Horizon's Grand Hall. Leaders and scientists from many races gathered to discuss how to use the artifact's energy source for the benefit of all. The artifact had become a symbol of possibility, an example of what could happen when knowledge was shared, not hidden. Commander Lena spoke to the assembly. We have long lived in silence, each race separated by fear and caution. But now we stand together. This energy source is a gift, and with it, we can build a future where no one is left behind. Kalen felt a deep pride listening to Lena's words. Humans had waited patiently for this moment, and now, their hope was spreading like light across the galaxy. As the discussions continued, Kalen noticed a young scientist from another race named Velar, who was especially eager to learn about the artifact. Velar came from a planet struggling with pollution and energy shortages. The energy source humans had discovered could save his people. Kalen and Velar quickly became friends, sharing ideas and working together on ways to use the technology safely. Their friendship was a small but powerful sign of the new connections forming between species. But not everyone was ready to trust so easily. Some older leaders worried about sharing such powerful technology, fearing it might be misused or cause new conflicts. They asked difficult questions and reminded everyone of past mistakes. Kalen understood these fears. Trust must be earned, they said during one meeting. But if we do not try, we will remain divided forever. Commander Lena agreed. We must remember our past but not be prisoners of it. The future is ours to create together. Meanwhile, the artifact's energy began to be studied more closely. Teams of scientists worked side by side, mixing human knowledge with ideas from other races. Slowly, they learned how to use the energy source to heal environments, power cities, and create clean water. One day, a breakthrough came. Velar and Kalen discovered a way to adapt the energy for use on many different planets. This was a moment of joy and hope for all. The news spread quickly. Across the galaxy, worlds facing hardship began to believe again in a better tomorrow. Kalen remembered the early days of the venture's journey. The fear, the questions, the silent border that kept so many away. Now those fears were turning into trust. On Horizon, celebrations were held to mark this new era of cooperation. Music, stories, and laughter filled the halls. Aliens and humans danced together, sharing their joy. Kalen stood with Lena on the observation deck once more, watching the ships that now came freely and without fear. "Do you think this will last?" Kalen asked. Lena looked thoughtful. "It will if we keep choosing peace, understanding, and friendship. The past can teach us, but it does not have to control us." Suddenly, a message arrived from a distant part of the galaxy. Another species wanted to join the alliance. The ripple was spreading. Kalen smiled. The silent border was gone. A new understanding had begun. The future was bright. But as the stars outside continued to shine, both Kalen and Lena knew that this was only the start. Many challenges still waited. Old fears and new questions would test their trust. Yet they were ready. Together, humans and their new friends would face the future, crossing boundaries not with fear but with hope.